Hello, friends. I'm glad you made it to the right place, right time. This is my virtual boutique of memoir coaching and ghostwriting services. My name is Alyssa Berthium, but you'll likely be calling me Allie as we work together because that's what everybody in my inner circle calls me. I'm a professional writer, native Vermonter, practicing feminist, recovering middle child, wannabe superhero, and a mom who's pretty sure she is just winging it. I'm also the owner, founder, and CEO, head coach, and ghostwriter of The Right Place, Right Time. My whole goal is to support badass and brilliant folks looking to brave the path to the blank page and write their books that are going to change the world. By watching this video, you'll get a better sense of who I am, what I'm about, and how I work. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, what made you start doing what you do? The truth is, I've been a writer my whole life. When I was 5 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a writer. When I was 11, I wrote my first memoir. It was terrible. It was boring. It was full of misspellings, and it was embarrassing as I got to be older. And I realized that some of the adults that were featured in that story had kept their copies. Nonetheless, I went on to get 2 degrees in writing, my undergraduate degree in creative writing and a master's of fine arts in writing. In 2020, I published my first book and I ghostwrote my first client book, and I haven't looked back since. Truthfully, I started this business in 2018 under a variety of different circumstances, and I began as content writer and copywriter and eventually moved over to book coaching and ghostwriting. But that's exactly where I need to be because books and stories and people have been in my heart always. Ultimately, I jumped on the entrepreneurial journey as one part of my commitment to showing my son what it means to pursue your dreams, be who you are, and not let anyone put you inside of a box. So I'm blending my love of people, my love of stories, my skill sets, and my gifts and talents in writing to serve people on their journey to publication. So, why did I get started? I don't know that I was ever not meant to be a writer. So why do I love to do the work that I do? Well, I've already mentioned that I love people and stories, but what I really love the most is when people feel seen and heard. And there is nothing quite like sitting down day after day, working with clients, listening to the experiences that they've been through, the feelings that they felt, the thoughts that they've had, the memories that they hold, good and bad, and being able to reflect back to them what I'm hearing and have them feel really held in a safe space and feel seen and non-judged. Um, that is truly what I love the most about this work. I think that stories have the ability to heal us. That when we honor our story, when we show up and we say, this happened to me, this is my truth, this has been my experience, this is what I have learned, that we activate our healing, we expand as a person, we evolve, and that we show up more authentically in the world as ourselves. And when we show up more authentically in the world as ourselves, I believe that the world is a better place because we're not faking, we're not lying to ourselves or to others. We're being us. We're being who we were meant to be. We are showing up in all of our shapes and shades, all of our messy and meaningful moments, good and bad. And I believe that when we do that, we encourage and inspire others to do the same. And the more healed that we show up, the more that ripple effect takes on, and the more other people show up. So if stories have the power to heal us, then stories have the power to change the world. And that is why the work that I do is so important to me. That's why I love what I do. It goes far beyond my love for words or stories or people, really. It very much is about what I'm trying to do to make the planet a better place, our communities, and ourselves better selves. Okay, so why should a customer or client choose me? All right. Well, number one, you're going to have a hell of a good time, and you are not going to find a lot of other people who are going to swear with you, cry with you, laugh with you, be in the trenches with you. and create such a safe and joyful container, even while you might be working on something that's truly difficult. It could be difficult because you're telling a story you've never told before. Could be difficult because you're writing a book and you've never done that before. It could be a combination of the things. But I am really here to provide a white glove service. I'm gonna hold your hand the whole way. I'm gonna be your girlfriend writing guide, all rolled into one. You're going to get really high touch support. Beyond that, however, I am educated in the field of writing, not only by having written my entire life, but by having those 2 college degrees focused in writing. I'm experienced in that. I've been working with clients now for several years in the capacity of writing. I have my own book. I have another one out or coming out soon. So I'm not only experienced as a coach and a ghostwriter, I'm also experienced as an author, as somebody who has done this themselves. I'm extremely organized, which is also interesting because I'm super creative and sometimes those things don't go together. So I blend these 2 worlds of mine, my left brain and my right brain, to bring to you something beautiful, but that also makes sense. I have a particular method of how I work, a process that I bring people through that helps them to feel clear, confident, and in control of their story and what we're doing. I'm extremely candid. I'm a shoot from the hip. You see what you see is what you get kind of person, which usually makes people feel really comfortable being with me. You're not going to get just writing with me. You're going to be seen, heard, and held. You're going to get coaching, counseling, and consulting all in one. It's nearly your one-stop shop when it comes to writing a book, just nearly. And I will explain that in a little bit. Okay, so what makes me different than other people in the field? So other memoir coaches and other ghostwriters. Well, I already kind of touched on the fact that I blend my creative side with my strategic and organizational side. Now, why is that important? Well, because there is a lot to do when you're working on a book with having to know how to tell a story, how to write dialogue, how to build out scenes, how to make characters that are based on real people, come to life. And to also have the story flow in a way that the reader can manage to understand what you're trying to say. But there's also a lot of project management that goes into book projects. There's a lot of things that need to happen and in a particular order. There's a lot of business side of things or marketing side of things that authors need to know while they're working on their book that require more than just being creative. I've met with a lot of other, let's say, writers in the industry, and they are wonderful, wonderful, talented people. They don't necessarily always have the same organizational, strategic, and business hat that I offer, because a lot of them are very creative and they're kind of living mostly on that side. So you're going to get kind of my project management, organizational ninja skills, in addition to what I understand of creative writing, writing a book, telling a story. And then, of course, you're also going to get that high touch kind of customer experience. And it really is an experience to work with me. It's not transactional. And that's probably the thing that I would want to emphasize the most. I actually give a shit. Okay. And I'm saying that because I, again, have met with other people in the industry that for them, these projects that they're working on can be very transactional, especially if they're a part of a bigger agency or they're the middle person, somebody else brought the project, they're handing the project off to them. I'm not like that. I'm about my people. I go deep. I go deep with my people. My clients and customers become my friends. I really care about their stories. I believe that their stories are sacred, and I hold those clients and their stories close to my heart and really believe in doing whatever it takes to make sure that the book they have on the other side truly captures them, their voice, their essence, their spirit, their tone, their message, their story, their emotions, their thoughts, whatever it is. I'm committed. I'm committed to my clients. I'm committed to the process. I'm committed to doing it well. And I will do whatever it takes to ensure that on the other side of this thing, the book that they have is one that they are so ridiculously proud of that whatever time it took, whatever money they invested, they know without a doubt, without any regret, that it was worth every single cent in time, energy, and resources to have produced this book with me. So what are some of the things that I would want you to know if you were going to become a client? Number one, I'm not about awards and bestseller campaigns. Now, that's not to say that I don't think it's a worthy enough cause to shoot for getting some sort of book prize or book award or bestseller status of some capacity, Amazon or other. However, my main focus is not on external validation. My main focus is making sure that you have the story that you want to tell, that you have the final product and book that you want, and in the long run, that you're saying what you want to say, that it sounds like you, that you feel really good about it. I'm really more about the intrinsic motivations and desires when it comes to writing a book. And I find that awards and bestseller campaigns and statuses are bonus, but they're not really where I set my attention in the beginning. And it's not something that I ever promise or guarantee either. I do the best I can by my clients. I'm hoping you're going to do the best by me, and we're going to work together as a team. We're going to be collaborative. It'll be a partnership. We're going to feel really good about what we do, but we're not focusing on awards and bestseller. And I could get on my soapbox more about that, but I'm not going to. The other thing that I really need my clients to know is that I'm not going to be the one publishing you. I'm going to hold your hand all the way. I'm going to introduce you to the people that you need, but I'm ultimately here to help you get started and to get through the manuscript and to then hand it over. So I will help you pick out a press, introduce you to people that I know, teach you about the different avenues and options that you have in front of you, help you make an educated decision. Again, introduce you to people that you might need and that you might want to work with, but I'm not going to be the person who's actually putting my publishing imprint on your book. I don't have a publishing imprint. I have no interest in being a publishing house and doing all the nitty-gritty things, but I know some really fabulous people in the industry who are going to really want to take your hand from mine and usher you along the finish line. The other thing that I really would want future clients to know is I'm not really about speed and cutting corners. While I believe in being efficient and I believe in having, guidelines and milestones and projects with deadlines and things like that, ultimately, I want us to take the time that we need to produce a really great book. The way that I like to put it is that the world has lasted this long without your book. It can last a little bit longer, and it will be worth having taken the time to do it right and do it well than it is to speed through it and end up with errors or something that ends up being a lesser quality product than what you would like. So if you are in an urgent rush, I am not your person. I'm a slow and steady wins the race kind of worker. And I really believe in the quality of what we're doing over any kind of quantity, whether that's, speed. Speed. Speed is what comes to mind. Ultimately, I'm about heart, commitment, truth, bravery, loving on my clients, helping them to rewrite their narrative, share their message, strengthen their voice, and feel empowered to speak. That is where my focus lies. And yes, obviously, it's through the written word, but this is really what I am about. I'm about you. All right, so where do we want to leave this? I guess we want to leave this with what I really want you to know. And that is that I am here to support you in overcoming the barriers to telling your story. I know you have a powerful narrative the world needs to hear. So if you've got those pesky thoughts that nobody's going to care, nobody wants it, or it doesn't matter to anybody else, I'm here to tell you that that's not true. If anything, it's the exact opposite. I'm going to go back to something that I said earlier. I believe that when we are honest about what we have been through and we are brave enough to tell it, that we activate our own healing. We become more empowered and more liberated. And when we show up in the world more healed and more authentic, we are more genuine about who we are. We inspire others to do the same. Our healing leads to their healing. Our stories have the power to heal us and others as a result. So if there's a story that's bubbling inside you that you're dying to say out loud, that it does have worth, it does have value, it does have power, and there is at least one person that needs it. And I guarantee you that if there is at least one person who needs it, then there are more than that. So please, 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 please be in touch. Let's work together. Let's get you seen and heard. Let's get the impactful story out into the world. If you would like to get this conversation up and running, I'd like you to head over to the Connect page on the website and send me a note. Let's get you onto the writing path. I would be honored to be your guide.